We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Welcome, everybody. Episode 33 of
the Delvin Cook episode.
And what do you say about this shit? I don't know.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh man, I don't know. What do you say about this shit? We picked a good year to start this show.
Yeah, apparently. But before we get into the bad stuff, we'll roll through.
We got guys more than the team will.
Yeah, we got a little bit of news to talk about quick, and then we'll do the go through the recap of the Cowboys game.
Yeah, Ryan's in a good mood today.
Oh yeah. Do our awards, and then roll in. We'll preview next week's game and kind of our standard roll of stuff here. So again tonight, brought to you by our friends over at the Boulder Tap House. Craft burgers, craft beer, and an atmosphere the whole family will love. Give those guys a check it out if you're in the area and you see one in your drives anywhere. With that, we are going to roll right into the news. Of course, the big one that came out, happened during the game on Sunday.
Fucking rains and pours, man.
Everybody was fearing the worst, and then it came out after he went in for an MRI on Monday. Danielle Hunter tore a pectoral muscle during the game and is out for the season.
Fucking A, man. Seriously. We can't have nice things here in Minnesota.
No. And of course, this happens 2 days after we trade Stephen Weatherly away, or give him away.
Yeah.
So now we have...
Football gods are telling us something here.
So now we have minimal depth at end again, the same problem we had last year. I still don't get what the Weatherly trade did, especially since we didn't make any more moves. I could have seen it if we were doing it to free up some cap space to sign somebody else, but we did nothing at the trade deadline when it rolled through at 3 p.m. Tuesday afternoon.
What a fucking finagled, lame ass trade. Why do you trade away your depth before the fucking...
Because Rick Spielman's an idiot.
And he didn't even get nothing for it.
No, we just swapped 7th round picks. So we got theirs this year. They get ours next year.
Stupid.
Yeah. But anyway, of course, like I said, now we're going to be scrambling at trade deadline has passed. So not that I was in favor of trading for anybody to replace Hunter anyway, because all Spielman would have done is given up a high draft pick, kept the guy for 3 weeks and turned around and cut him later or something. So
I would have if maybe we were sitting at like 5-2.
Even if we'd have beat Dallas, I could have seen, a case to be made for it. But yeah. But with that, we're going to roll into the recap of that god-awful shit show that we saw on Sunday Night Football in front of a national audience.
Every fucking time we play a backup quarterback. Every time. For as long as I can remember.
Yeah, and we were saying it. In fact, I put on Twitter, on the Vikings Uncensored Twitter page, earlier in the day that when we found out for sure that Cooper Rush was going to start, I said, we're going to make Cooper Rush look like a perennial all-pro. He's going to throw for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. He threw for 325 and 2. and made us look stupid.
Well, made us look smart, but made our team look stupid.
I'm talking us as the Vikings, but
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I know.
but we'll roll into the break down the positional stuff like we normally do here. So we'll start with the offense. First drive of the game, pretty damn good.
That's been the tail of the tape all year.
After that, not a damn thing.
Huh.
We couldn't even get the running game going. I mean, Dalvin Cook only ran for 78 yards. Cousins had 18,
Three
and Madison
passes over
had
15
5.
yards through the air. 3 fucking passes through the air for 15 fucking yards or more.
Justin Jefferson had 4 targets the entire freaking game. 4.
Fuck you, offensive fucking coordinator. Fuck you, Zimmer.
Yeah, the play calling, I know we've talked about this before during, multiple shows. Is Zimmer holding Kubiak back? Is Kubiak actually this bad? I think they're both this bad.
I think they're both shitty.
I don't think Kubiak has a clue what the hell he's doing out there. The ones that they plan the entire week for and script, they work. But
we had 2 fucking weeks this time.
Yeah. We use a play once and it worked. We can't go back and use that again because they're going to expect it. But we can sit and do a rollout, the same freaking play 12 times, and it doesn't work a single one of the times, but yet we keep running that one.
Yeah, we got
or making CJ Ham the focal point of our offense.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah. The defense helped out the offense a couple times. We had 2 turnovers. We got a total of -4 yards on those 2 turnover drives.
Yeah.
Forget about getting points. We got negative yardage. We were 1 for 13 on 3rd down. 1.
We got gifted times to take this game.
Well, yeah, I mean,
opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to put this game away.
But the play calling and this stuff, and
do they not understand how important this fucking game is?
No, I don't think they do. I don't think they know. They don't have clue what the hell is going on over there. And
I don't drive all night.
Right. I don't want to get too far down the coaching hole because we'll hit that later on in the breakdown here. But and then what was it in the second half? We had 3 and outs on what was it, like 4 or 5 straight drives, something like that. And then of course the 2-minute drill again. That one in the first half, that was the most clusterfuckish thing I have ever seen.
Fucking embarrassing. Inept. We have
a timeout. We have a timeout in our pocket, and Kirk is out there trying to set up this elaborate thing. It looks like the goddamn Chinese fire drill going around out there. If you're not going to call the timeout, get up, spike the ball. But then when somebody quizzed, and we'll roll into this Cousins thing, I said on the show last week that this was another prime opportunity for Kirk Cousins to start dispelling all of the thoughts about him and how he plays and everything else. And he didn't dispel anything. He reinforced it.
Yeah.
But when they asked Cousins in his press conference after the game about
everybody's pointing fingers at each other.
Yeah, but they asked Kirk why he didn't call timeout when they were doing that stuff when we had one in our pocket. Well, I leave the calling the timeouts up to Zim because I don't know what the offense or the play calling is going to be.
Before the half, there was the scramble, and then sort of the 20 seconds or so ran off the clock. In that situation, is that your prerogative to call timeout, perhaps, or?
I just let Zim handle the timeouts because I never know quite what the coaches want to do with what they're thinking, play ahead or what it may be. So I was just going to let them handle that, and then, call the next play if we're not getting it.
Dude, you're a 10-year veteran. You know that you have to stop
Could you
the
imagine
damn
if
ball.
Peyton Manning would have said something like that?
Brett Favre.
Right, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, even. Oh, my coach.
I don't call the timeouts because I don't know what they want to do. Dude, you're supposed to be a leader on this team. I mean, we've strayed away from bashing Kirk too much this year because he's played pretty well for the most part. But for the love of God, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he threw for 184 yards. You got outplayed by Cooper freaking Rush. Whatever the hell that is. Your next all-pro quarterback if you played Minnesota 12 times a year.
Every time, even before Zim has been here, whenever we play fucking backup quarterbacks, we have a fucking propensity to play down to all of our opponents all the fucking time.
Right. But, it would have been nice to have, an extra week to prepare for this game.
But what?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we should have had a bye, in between the Carolina game and this game or something. It would have been nice to have that time to be able to come up with some sort of a game plan so you didn't get out coached by Cletus McCarthy again.
And you come off that win, that emotional win, and this is what we get? And you get that bye in there to fucking sugarcoat things? I mean, come the fuck on, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck did you do? Finger your asshole this last 2 weeks?
I don't know what they were doing.
What the fuck were they doing?
Nothing, obviously. But before we get too far, we'll keep rolling here because we could rant forever. But we'll move on. You got anything else to talk about with the offense? All right.
No, there was no bright spots.
Well, yeah, there was nothing on offense to talk about because it was one of the most pathetic offensive showings I've seen.
Right, unless people want to sit here and listen to us bitch and moan all day, that's all they're going to get about the offense this week.
This was worse than the Cleveland game.
This season has just been way too much of this. And
too much of this, not enough of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but anyway, we'll roll on to the defense here.
Yeah.
The run defense actually, for the first time this year, held the opposition to under 100 yards rushing.
Wow, that's surprising.
Which, surprises me.
It
because
didn't seem like that.
No, because I picked Zeke Elliott in our fantasy stuff, and I said he was going to run for 150 yards. Well, they didn't. Of course, they didn't run it that much either because Cooper Rush was throwing it all over the yard.
And these receivers were wide. What the fuck was up with these cushions?
Yeah, they were playing 10 yards off. And if you're doing
every fucking
even the guy in his first NFL starts, I got a 10-yard cushion. Here's a 7-yard pass. Here's a 5-yard pass. Here's a 6-yard pass.
All fucking day.
325 yards from a guy making his first NFL start.
Who also made a couple mistakes during the game, which we
said,
did not capitalize on.
No. Our one bright spot of the game.
Shove that shit down their throat when you get a chance.
We don't attack a team's weaknesses. That's bad sportsmanship. But like I was going to say,
very rarely do we ever capitalize with points on fucking turnovers, it seems like.
No, I mean, Xavier Woods was probably the lone bright spot on this entire freaking team for the entire game.
You hit it right there, yep.
Interception.
And good for fucking Xavier Woods, for real. Good for you, bud.
Yep,
you balled with, in front of your old team. You deserve it.
Well, yeah, he came in with a chip on his shoulder because he wanted to go back to Dallas and they didn't want him. So, he come back, I'll show you. Had a sack, had a forced fumble, had an interception. But, then we start looking at the secondary on that game-winning drive. Bashaud Breeland had an interception, hit him right there. And he pops it up. Oh, no. I don't want this. Amari Cooper, here, happy Halloween. You take this.
couple of receivers to the left side. Ross comes this way with a throw, and Cooper juggles, and he's going to make the catch at the 40-yard line. Smith was there. Magical.
Unbelievable. Off of Breland's chest.
You know what that reminded me of? The fucking Dishman interception on Monday night against Green Bay back in the day. But that was to end the game. That sucked too.
Yeah.
Fucking Antonio Freeman off the ground, off his back, raining out. I'm sure you know. I'm sure all that you guys watch remember too.
But, you know, and then that was still, and I don't remember if this was the game-winning drive, but it was one of the ends there. That 3rd and 11 when, it was
vaunted fucking third down defense.
Yeah. We let Zeke Elliott run over Anthony Barr, and I forget who the other one was.
No, Anthony Barr let Zeke Elliott run over Anthony Barr.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But, you know, made the executive decision there not to freaking tackle and give up on Dallas was playing for the field goal, and we let him score a touchdown.
We played that drive as well as we played that drive to end the half on offense.
Yeah.
But on defense.
Or that 96-yard drive that we gave up against Carolina 2 weeks ago. But, you know, missed tackles, just fundamentals.
Unpreparedness.
Yeah.
Incompetence. Ineptness.
Right. But then you were talking about how we were playing, how the cushions and stuff were playing off. Listen to this. Average depth of target. The Vikings, 4 yards. Dallas, 10.
Exactly. I mean, nothing. What do you fuck do you even say to that?
Yeah, there's nothing that we can say that's new that we haven't said 35 times already this year. I mean, you know, it used to be we hold a team to under 17 points and we would win 90% of the time. Now, the last couple, I mean, we held down. No, it's that doesn't even count anymore. The Mendoza line is gone.
That window has shut, and we're getting to that.
Yeah.
The Mendoza line does not exist anymore.
No. And then, you know, now, of course, moving forward, we're going to be even, you know, we were doing well with the pressure, but up until this point now without Hunter, you know, we're going to have DJ starting and then rotating in some of these other guys to see if they can.
Willikis, Jones. Now is Daenerys, is he on the IR for the entire year?
Robinson went on before the season. He would have had to start the season on the active roster, but no, we put him on beforehand, so he can't come back.
Okay.
So right now we've got Kenny Willikis, we've got DJ Wanham, we've got Everson Griffin, we've got Patrick Jones, and I suppose
I feel like we're missing somebody. Joe Schmo. Yeah, there you go. Joe Schmo.
Yeah, Joe Schmo.
Yeah.
Bob Sapp.
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. So anyway, anything else you want to hit on the defense before we move on, or?
No. Everybody looks slow.
Yep.
You know, if I was Kendricks, I'd be really frustrated. Yeah, it's gonna get. I don't feel like this is gonna get better before it gets worse.
Yeah. So with that, we'll move on to the special teams here because we've already started down some of these other rabbit holes, but we'll pick those back up in a minute here. I guess one bright spot, Greg Joseph made all of his kicks.
Barry had a pretty decent night.
Joseph 3 field goals and the 1 extra point, mainly because we couldn't move the ball, so we'd get a short field and then we would have to kick a field goal, but at least he made them all.
Yeah.
Josh Berry, I think he punted 6 or 7 times, something like that. Jordan Berry. Why do I keep saying Josh Berry?
I don't know.
Dr. Dumbass.
Maybe he looks like a trash cube.
Josh Berry's a NASCAR driver. Jordan Berry's a pilot.
That's probably exactly why.
I'm guessing so.
Yeah.
Josh Berry drives for Dale Earnhardt in the Earnhardt Jr. in the Xfinity series. So that's probably where I get it from. But
I guarantee
Jordan Berry. Yeah. We got to see Kane Wangu stand in the end zone and watch kicks go over his head all night.
Unfortunately,
he didn't even get a chance to return anything. Realistically, I mean, special teams, that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, they played their part.
Yeah, coverage was pretty decent again, but other than that, nothing really exciting to speak of there. No. So with that, here we go back into the meat and potatoes, and I hate sounding like a broken record, but we're going to roll into the coaching.
Fucking hey, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
What do you say? Mike Zimmer.
What do you say that hasn't been upset already?
Yeah. And and we've been
getting. You know what the sad thing is, Ryan? There are still those Zimmer supporters out there.
Oh God, yeah. I've been seeing it on Twitter. There was what saw one that was, before this gets to the point where people start resenting him, we need to remember all the good Mike Zimmer has done for this team. What has he done for this team? 2 playoff wins since.
Yeah, until
making the playoffs every other year.
Until fans start to demand more out of this team, this is how it's always going to be.
But I mean, you got these freaking Zimmer tubbies. Because it's all they go to one extreme to the other.
8 fucking years, man.
Zimmer's the best coach we've had since Denny Green. Yeah, he is. Yeah. But you look at what else we've had in between then. But then when you bring that up, then it's like
it's because everybody's so afraid that that's what we're going to get next again.
Yeah, we get rid of Mike Zimmer. We're going to go back and we're going to have another yada.
We're going to have an offensive-minded coach.
It's not one extreme or the other. Just because you get rid of a guy that's half-assed doesn't mean you're going to go complete ass in the basement. It's here again.
To get anywhere, you need to take risks.
If we are too scared to take a risk to try to be great, we will never be any better than maybe average.
Which is why a lot of these teams in the league never get anywhere.
Right. Because they're content with decent. And that has been the Vikings mantra. They're so scared we're going to have a year that's 4-13 or 5-12 or whatever. We may need a couple of those years to get this shit turned around in order to get to a point where we're going to be hoisting that damn trophy in February.
60 fucking years, man. The Saints. Sad fucking Saints.
Tampa Bay has 2.
Yeah. Just in the same region as the Saints used to be. The same trash heap of the league.
Yeah.
The Rams. They got a couple.
Right. I mean, and before we get into Zimmer too much here, I want to touch on Kubiak quick because that bears speaking. We've given Clint the benefit of the doubt for most of this year. You know what? Is Zimmer holding him back? Is this? I think Zimmer plays a part in this, but I don't think Kubiak knows what he's doing. If his name was Clint Smith instead of Clint Kubiak, he'd have never got a job as an offensive coordinator. The only reason he's an offensive coordinator is because he's Clint's son of Gary. And yes, that was continuity. Put continuity in one hand and shit in the other and see which one fills up first. But I'm done giving Kubiak the benefit of the doubt because the only thing he calls that's any good is the scripted plays, and we talked about that earlier.
We slapped Stefanski right in the face.
Yeah.
We did. Slapped him right in the face. And I wish him the best. I hope he fucking rocks.
And we brought this up before. That wild card win against the Saints 2 years ago was probably the worst victory in the history of this franchise, as far as what it did to this team.
Yeah, and that's when we should have let Zimmer go.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when we showed up the next week and got our asses handed
That
to
is
us
when Zimmer's
by
closed.
San Fran, Zimmer
That's when
should have
Zimmer's
been gone.
window slammed shut.
Yep. And
In
then
my opinion.
And then they nailed
Right
it shut
there.
with pole barn spikes that are that freaking long.
Yes.
But them being that we're on Zimmer now. Remember a couple weeks ago when Zimmer chewed out Sheldon Richardson for calling a timeout right after we called a timeout?
I do.
Guess who did that this weekend? Called a timeout, and then Zimmer calls a timeout. Then he calls another timeout because somebody was yelling at him about the play that was going on out there. And then Zimmer's excuse when he gets in his press conference afterwards, oh, the refs are just supposed to ignore that when that happens, but yet they called it and we got a 5-yard penalty.
Mike, what were you seeing on the 3rd and 16 that led you to call that second straight timeout?
Yeah, I screwed up. I forgot that I called one. Somebody yelled at me because I knew the play that they were running. It was really the same play that they hit down the middle against us for a long touchdown. And so somebody said call timeout, and I did. And then the official wasn't supposed to grant it. They're supposed to not, which anyway, it's not his fault. So they end up getting a 5-yard penalty.
It's a fucking rule, man.
Know the game situation, you dumbass.
Exactly.
Jesus. I mean, but you can
How
see.
do you expect the players to follow this guy?
Right. I mean, and you can see after the game in some of these press conferences, the players are starting to turn on him.
They're starting to take shots. We are going to have a fucking mutiny on our hands here soon.
Kirk took a shot with that. Oh, I leave the timeouts up to Zimmer, even though that made you look stupid, Kirk. We realized it was a shot at Zimmer also.
That's got Kirk written all over
that. Mr. Passive Aggressive Slam behind the scenes there. Adam Thielen came in his press conference or his presser afterwards said, we can't just sit there and let these teams keep hanging around all the time. And that's not just the players, it's the coaches. It's
the game. What was the gist, the message?
Well, I'll say this. I think it's how we all feel. We gotta quit just hanging in games. Every game we just hang around. Let the team hang around instead of just putting our foot on the gas and going. Like you guys said, we went down. You score on that first drive. We got to put the foot in the gas. And I don't know what we need to do that, but we can't just say it because we've been saying that since week 1. So we got to find a way collectively as an entire team. Again, look ourselves all in the mirror and say, what can we do to not do that? Because we know what we got to do, right? But it's easy to say it. You got to go out and find a way to do that. You got to talk about how we're going to do that. Have a plan for that, and that starts each one of us individually.
Is there just high frustration, Adam? Just because you have talent, obviously, with so many at the skill positions everywhere around the field. So the potential is there for this group to do more.
Right. I would say if you're not frustrated, there's something wrong with you, and you shouldn't be on this team. You shouldn't be a coach if you're not frustrated.
If you look at the talent we have on this team, you should realize how we should be built.
Oh, absolutely. But we've always been told Zimmer can score 40 points whenever he wants to.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
He's got all the tools to score 40 points every game. He does.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to.
He chooses not to. He chooses to stick to what his fucking idea of a game plan is. Which is run, pass, defense.
Yeah, but then he came out and said we got too aggressive in the second half because he said we threw 9 straight passes with him. No, you didn't. I was listening to Dan Barrero on KFan Monday.
Just because you're passing the ball doesn't mean you're fucking aggressive.
Right, but Barrero and Guardsy went through the play-by-play. The most passes we threw in a row was 5, and that was at the end of the game when we were trying to get back down there to score.
And you know what? One of those passes was a fucking sling out to the receiver on the fucking sideline. That went nowhere for 3 yards.
Yeah, and a negative pass to, who was it? Conklin or whatever it was. But it's also to the point, we talked about there's still the Zimmer tubbies and the stuff that are sitting there are going to die on that damn hill. But a big chunk of the fan base, and I saw this on Twitter afterwards, they're pouring gas on those torches, and they're digging the pitchforks out of their tool shed.
What's that ominous glow in the distance?
I don't know that. I mean, I've seen that swell growing slowly, but it took a massive step after this game.
Yeah, it really did. There's fewer out there that are, but they're out there. You know? Yeah. There's a lot fewer, and there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, maybe it is time for a change. Finally, after 8 years of utmost support through everything, you know, and they're like, and they're proud of that. Whatever, be proud of that. Whatever, you know,
whatever gets you through the day. Oh yeah, I've seen that too. I love Zimmer. I think he's a great coach, but I'm starting to think that it might be time for a change. No, Zimmer's not a great coach, and you know, when he first came in, he was when he was a coordinator and all this stuff. And when he first came here, he was the cornerback whisperer. Our cornerbacks have been ass for 3 years.
Or have any of his corners that he has drafted
The last time our cornerbacks were any good was 2017. Really.
And that's when Xavier Woods was up, you know, and
when
the roads closed. Who wasn't even Zimmer's fucking corner to begin with?
No, but that was Zimmer's pet project. He made Rhodes good for like 2 years. And after that, I mean, Dantzler's shown a few flashes, but he's also shown places where he's incompetent. Rashad Breeland again.
That we've wasted on corners that have done nothing.
Mike Hughes. Oh, no, we'll trade him, get rid of him. Gladney, I'm not going to fault the team for because that's an extenuating circumstance. But you know, we saw this time after time when McCarthy was in Green Bay. He would outcoach Zimmer. He did it again this weekend. Honestly, probably was more Kellen Moore than Mike McCarthy, but Zimmer could get.
The refs did all they could to help us.
Yeah, that one drive for all the times. And I saw somebody that had the balls to say the reason we didn't win is because the refs screwed us.
Yeah, and that was actually on our page.
Yeah. I think
don't fucking blame the refs ever. I mean,
no, and there was three unnecessary roughness or whatever penalties on there. Maybe one of them was legit. The other ones were pretty ticky-tack, and they went in our favor.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear a damn word about somebody saying that we got screwed by the refs this week. Mike McCarthy. Melissa McCarthy could have outcoached Mike Zimmer this weekend. But anyway,
it's irritating to say the least.
It is. But we're going to move on here because we could, you know, we're just getting more fired up.
Okay, the last thing I want to talk about this coaching
one more thing. Okay.
Before I forget, in my opinion, Zimmer should have been fired yesterday, and that is Tuesday night. We're recording. He should have been fired on Monday. The longer that he is here, the more the door stays open for him to stick around.
Oh, I don't disagree with that.
He's still got his foot in the door right now.
What's going to happen is he's going to somehow or another figure out a way to scratch out 7 wins or 8 wins or whatever. And
you know what? It's going to put us right in the middle of the fucking draft again.
Yeah. We're going to win just enough games to screw up our draft set. We're not going to win enough to make a legit playoff run. We're going to win just enough to screw up our draft status, so we're picking 15th.
Or we're going to end up backing into the playoffs, and Zim's got his foot in the door.
Yeah.
And then the ownership's going to have a decision to make. Whether, you know, to me, in all my opinion, it's Super Bowl or bust. You know, and I mean, it's, you know, realistically, I know. Realistically, seriously, but
we're not winning the Super Bowl this year.
No, but I mean, if we don't get rid of this, the players are starting to lose the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if we don't figure this problem out sooner, why not give somebody a shot? There is still a possibility for us to make the playoffs. Get him out of here and give somebody a shot. So then that gives the possibility of this coaching problem can be figured out before the start of next season.
But I mean, the only person on this staff that would even be remotely qualified as head coach is Andre Patterson. But I don't want us to replace Mike Zimmer permanently with somebody who's already on this staff.
Right.
I don't. You need to blow this whole damn thing up.
The only person I would keep around that's on this staff is Keenan McCardell.
Right. And I would, like we mentioned before, well, I think it was on the Gallahorn page when we were on here that we were having a discussion.
I think McCardell has a bright future ahead of him.
I mean, if you were to let Zimmer go during the season, I would just to swap things up, and you send Clint Kubiak down the road too. Let McCardell call plays and be an offensive coordinator for the rest of the year.
I'm right there with you, bud. That was why I would. Yep.
But
I can agree with that.
Yeah. But yeah, but anyway, we're going to move off of this because we can.
Yep. So let's move along, like you said.
So with that, we will move on to our weekly awards segment. So
awards.
Yeah. So again, we always celebrate the good and the bad. Not a whole lot of good this week, but we will start off with our Badass of the Week award.
Who is that guy? Whoever he is one tough badass.
Who do you have for that, Mr.
This is easy. This is easy. We talked about him already. Sure, it's the same one for you because it's easy. I mean, I guarantee you that a lot of these players are trying their asses off the hardest they can, and we do got talent on this team, but there's a problem, and we just spent the last 20 minutes discussing that. Anyways, I guarantee you all these players are playing their asses off, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, my badass is the new day, Xavier Woods.
Yep.
He
mine
came in and he probably had this circled on his calendar, and he did exactly what he needed for himself to do. You know, and what he did should have sparked this team. It should have, you know, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
it's just fucking mind-boggling.
Yeah, like I said, there wasn't much to choose from. He was one of, you know, you can count on one hand. Well, Jason Pierre-Paul could count on one hand the number of players that had a good game this week.
Yeah.
But so yeah, like I said, no brainer. Woods is mine as well. Now we'll roll over to the not so great for this week in what we call our Red Foreman Award.
Son, you don't have bad luck. The reason that bad things happen to you is because you're a dumbass.
We talked about this already ad nauseum to the point where we're nauseous, but you know, we may start to think about changing the name of this award to
the Zimmer Award.
Yeah, because again, I'm actually going to give it to two people this week. I'm giving it to Mike Zimmer and Clint Kubiak.
You could throw Kirk Cousins in there too.
Yeah, you could. So I mean, there's, you know, enough to go around. You get a Red Foreman Award, and you get a Red Foreman Award, and you get a Red Foreman Award.
I would say this is your bar.
Mm-hmm.
Give Zim about that much, Clint about that much, and you give Kirk about that much. You know what I mean? Kirk.
Yeah.
You know, mostly Zim and Kubiak, and then a little bit of Kirk sprinkled in there too for the Foreman Award this week, or the Zimmer Award, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I'm not going to go steal Mackey and Judd's pie chart a blame thing they do, but yeah, you're right. But yeah, it's for me, it's Zimmer, and I'm also going to give it because it's our show and we can make up the rules as we want to. I'm also giving it to Kubiak, so because it's not even a comedy of errors anymore. It's just sad.
Yeah, it's like I said. My gut feeling is it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, because I don't think unless the wheels completely fall off in the next 3 weeks, Zimmer's here till the end.
And you know what, fans, shame me all you want for thinking that.
I don't care if people don't agree with me because
Right.
I honestly believe that's going to be the case. And
I've had my heart broken by this team too much to fucking think about rainbows and fairy tales and.
Yep. And we've always said we're not going to be the Ducky and Bunny Paul Allen paint the purple spin on all.
You want the real fucking truth? You come here.
Right.
End of Vikings Report.
Yeah.
And you'll get the truth.
And being you brought the Vikings Report up, we will move on to our next segment here, which is the recap of our fantasy football challenge for last week. Of course, for anybody that's new, not only do Lance and I pick fantasy teams against each other, we also have a friendly competition going on with our buddies Drew and Ted over at the Vikings Report. And it's been a pretty tight battle back and forth so far this year. The last few weeks have not gone all that well for us, but we'll start with the head-to-head here again. Lance has had a pretty good couple of weeks too, and had another good one this week. I think this is what, your third straight win now?
I think my second
win, but regardless, You're up 5-3 on me now because Lance had a score of 82.1.
That's without a player that wasn't going to.
Yeah. And then to me, I had 71.15. Now, adding those two together, we look over at the head-to-head between us and Vikings Report. And Vikings Report pulls off this is their third win in a row.
Oh my God.
163.8 to 153.25. So
Oh no! We suck again.
it was close this week, but
So
they
we're
still
at 5-3, or 3-5.
We're
right
3-5. They're 5-3. Yep. So we need to quote the great Mike Zimmer, we need to pick better. With that, we are going.
God.
Yeah.
I hate losing.
I know, I do too. Should be used to it being with Vikings fans. But
I was trying to think of something witty and quirky there, but I just couldn't. It wasn't coming to me.
Hey, if you can't think of anything witty and quirky, just say fuck.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
Basically, I mean, got it. Sometimes the classics are the best. I mean, what do you do?
Right.
So with that, we are going to move into another one of our classic beer commercials. So crack one open, sit back, check this out. We'll be back in a minute. It was already open, but yeah. Okay, we are back, and now we are going to put that god-awful, whatever you want to call it, Dallas game in the rearview mirror, and look ahead to this week's matchup as we travel to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. What do you see here, Lance?
Who's going to show up? That's what I'm thinking. What team are we going to get that shows up? Are we going to get a team that just is down and out and just going to, curl up, or are we going to get a team that's going to come out and fight and show what they got? And that all comes down to coaching too, and we've discussed it already. Let's just see what happens. Of course, we want to win. First and foremost, win, no matter what. You don't fucking tank for Trevor, as they said last year. I just want to win, man. shut down Lamar, and that'll go a long way. They got a stable of a bunch of has-been running backs over there.
Yeah, led by our old buddy Latavius Murray.
Yep.
Since they had,
I like Latavius Murray.
I do too.
Fucking Tay Train, yeah.
Yeah. But,
no disrespect to him, but they got a stable of aged seasoned backs over there.
Well, yeah, because all their starting running backs had their ACLs explode.
Oh, I thought maybe Dan Campbell went over and bit their kneecaps
off. Yeah, that could have been too. I don't know.
Who knows? He's a wild man.
They're on like their 4th or 5th starting running back this year. So,
they do got a couple of young up and comers at receiver there, but the question is, what Lamar are we going to see in the passing game? Is he going to be on or is he going to be off? It just depends. Just like I said, contain Lamar. Don't let him run all over you, and go from there and see what happens. First and foremost. And that Ravens defense isn't what that used to be either.
Yeah, it's still pretty solid though. I mean,
yeah,
they got a lot of good players over there. I mean, but on the offensive side of things, before I hit the defense, I mean, you keyed it right there, is containing Lamar Jackson.
I think everybody should know that. I mean,
unfortunately, again, Mike Zimmer teams have had a real problem with very mobile quarterbacks, and there's no quarterback more mobile in the league than Lamar Jackson
right now. And that's Watson ain't playing right now, but we've got Watson back in the week. If you got Watson back in the week, then it would be questionable. No,
Yeah, but and the thing we always talked about with Lamar Jackson when he first came in the league is he was a running back that occasionally throws the ball.
Yeah,
he's gotten a lot better throwing the ball the last couple years.
Who he reminds me of. Somebody that was just like him back in the day. Spent some time in jail.
Oof.
Reminds me a lot of Michael Vick.
Hey guys, you ready to let the dogs out?
What? Do what?
Let the dogs out. Like, who let the dogs out? Who?
Who brought this guy along?
No, but I think his ceiling's a little bit higher as far as the passer goes. So we'll see. We haven't faced Jackson yet. It'll be interesting to see how Zimmer game plans against him.
We won't game plan again for him, and I don't remember if we brought this up or not, but when Xavier Woods said that we didn't even game plan for Cooper Rush this past week, we're not going to game plan for Lamar Jackson because we don't have to worry about him. So
right.
But I mean, you start looking at their receiving group. Mark Andrews is a pretty good tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, he had last week 11 receptions for 147 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Colts.
Yeah, and we've had some bad days against some good tight ends.
Yeah. Plus, you've got Hollywood Brown. You've got Sammy Watkins is over there now. Devin Duvernay or however you say his last name, he's kind of coming on.
Uday
Duvernay. But then when we roll over to the defense, like we were talking, it's not the Ray Lewis led
solid, but
defense,
they're not
I mean, you've got Patrick Queen, who is a hell of a player.
Yeah.
McPhee, Humphrey's a good player. They've got Owe, the rookie. He's been having a pretty decent game or decent season so far. I mean, their defense is still formidable, and it's enough that's going to cause us problems. Our offensive line played a pretty crappy game this past week. I mean, the whole team did. But
I think something just once shit started to hit the fan, everything just decided to hit the fan.
It just snowballed.
Marisol was looking pretty fucking good there to start the game.
Yeah, but then he fell apart too. I mean, he didn't have a real great game.
He gave up the 1 sack, but
we only gave up 1 sack, but I think what was it? Kirk was pressured on 38% of his dropbacks, so that's not good.
That's not good, right?
But conversely, if he's pressured on 38% of the time, 62% of the time he had a clean pocket. Exactly. He still only threw for 187 yards.
Yeah. Udo had another questionable day. To me, it's getting to the point where you see what you got in Davis.
I'm about the point of being done with Oli Udo too.
You're about off the Udo.
I mean, I've been standing by the door on the subway waiting to get off for a couple of weeks now, and I'm, it's pulling up the station.
Right. He looked good coming into this year, and I wanted him to succeed so bad.
We want all these players to succeed. We don't want anybody on the team to fail. But
just because you feel bad for somebody does not mean that you don't get a look at somebody else that's waiting in the wings.
Yeah. So, but yeah, with that,
Udo just needs to pick it up and keep his job is what he needs to do. But is he going to be able to do that? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
With Zimmer, you just don't know either. You just never know.
No, you don't.
I mean, we could be seeing Dozier before we see Davis. Who the fuck knows with this team?
I would actually expect that. With this team, I would expect that. And if I see Dakota Dozier trotting his ass out on the field, I am going to lose my freaking mind.
Yeah. Like we said, we wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened. No. But in all reality, Davis, in my opinion, has earned the right to get a look with the starting unit.
Absolutely. He's a 3rd round pick, 2-time, consensus all pro in college. I mean, you can't tell me he was that good in college. Now he's that.
And he's sitting on the sideline for the Oli Udo experiment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. But anyways, or anything else you want to hit on this game before we roll into the picks and prognostications?
No.
Okay. So with that, we'll roll in. Again, we'll start off with the game itself. What do you see in here, Lance?
I want to see our offense, competent. I want to see more points. I want to see more touchdowns. It'd be nice to have a 3 fucking touchdown day, 4 touchdown day, something. I want to win. Like I said earlier, I want to win. I don't care how we do it. I want to win. I'm about had it with these fucking I mean, my brother was mentioning to me the other day, once or twice a season, I could take it, take watching these type of games, but every fucking game
we've had
has been this way so far this season. And we're going into we're going into our 8th game of the season, and every single game has been like this, except outside of Seattle.
Yeah.
And like he was, like I said, he mentioned typically once or twice, once, maybe twice a year, you can handle that.
Right.
You kind of just brush it out. I'll be like, okay, that happened. Let's just move along. But this is question marks across the whole board all year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with me, again, yeah. And I said this last week that the Dallas game was probably the most gettable, especially if Prescott didn't play, of this gauntlet that we're in now. And we came out and shit
we should have won. Well, you should have, could have, would have, but the fact is you
didn't. Yeah. But honestly, I have zero confidence that they're going to be able to keep Lamar Jackson in check. And this may not be one of those really close games, because Baltimore could come out and beat us by 2 or 3 scores this week.
Beat us while we're down, right?
I don't see us winning this game. I don't,
right.
I don't see how we're going to do it. Now, saying that, we could come in fired up and do it, but Zimmer's starting to lose the locker room. We saw that in some of the post-game press conferences.
To lose some of his hardcore supporters.
Right. So, I mean, this thing has the potential to go off the rails very quickly and very hard. And last week may have been the start of that. I hope it's not. But I don't see us winning this game. And you guys can hate me all you want to and say I'm not a fan, whatever, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
So we'll end up rolling out of here at 3-5. But anyway, with that,
thought, I guess that the thought was right.
I believe
the
we
thought
talked
was
about
always
this
in the back of our mind, but we always want what's best for this team.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
so you hope and you wish.
We don't want them to lose. We don't want them to tank. We don't want whatever.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, you can't just paint a fresh coat of paint over the top of a pile of dog shit and pretend that it's an ice cream sundae.
Right. I mean, the game is the off season so long as that you hope that they come back and they fix things that should have been fixed.
Well, yeah, because
and things are just, it's like an old car. It's just getting worse and worse. The
yeah, you don't want to be a fan base like Detroit who has no hope to begin,
Right.
They just start the season out with no hope.
They already know what they're getting and start the season.
Or how Cleveland was for 25 years.
Yes. Until they got,
Until Stefanski showed up, yeah. But anyway, with that, we're going to roll into our fantasy picks for the week. Again, contest going on between both Lance and I, and then Vikings Uncensored and Vikings Report.
I'm going to go Baltimore as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Surprisingly. First time this year, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
So with the game, of course, the two caveats is you cannot pick a player from the Thursday night game, since that game will have already happened, since you see both of our shows on Friday. And once you pick a player, you can't pick him again. With that, we take a quarterback, we take two wide receivers, a running back, and a tight end. So once again, since you won last week, Lance, I will let you go first with your quarterback.
Thank you for letting me go first again. Let me choose who goes first.
I need to play better so I can pick that first,
All righty, let me get my shit here. Okay, quarterback. I'm going to go with Derek Carr versus the Giants.
I actually thought about doing that one myself, but for me, checked out the injury report this week, and he was a full go as of Tuesday. So I am taking Dak Prescott against Denver.
Nice.
Okay, on to
high risk, high reward there.
Yep. Now watch, you'll suffer a setback, and I won't have a quarterback. But
I hope not. Just for the simple fact that
right, yeah, we need to beat Vikings Report this week. Running back, I am going to take Cordero Patterson versus the Saints.
Going off of that, I'm going to take Kamara versus the Falcons.
Okay. Hopefully one of the other of us gets a bunch of points out of that one.
Or both.
Yeah. All right, who's your wide receiver one?
I'm going to double up and go with Renfro versus the Giants.
Okay. I'm going to double up, and I'm taking Amari Cooper versus Denver.
Nice.
Okay. For my wide receiver 2, I am taking Robert Woods versus the Titans.
I'm going to go with Emmanuel Sanders versus Jacksonville.
Okay. Much tight end.
Tyler Higbee versus the Titans.
I'm going to take Mike Gesicki versus the Texans. So there are our picks for the week.
I wanted to go Adams, but with the COVID thing, I'm not, with the not being sure.
Yeah.
And then with there's something else I want to do with the tight end too, but I don't remember. Anyways, continue.
Yeah. So anyway,
wrap it up.
That's our picks for the week. Speaking of wrapping it up, we'll bring that full circle around here. That's about all we've got for this week. So once again, want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you to Boulder Tap House again. If you're out and about, remember to check us out on all your favorite audio platforms. The audio version of the cast is up there. It's also on our Facebook page. There is now a podcast tab where you can download the audio versions from there. We're getting closer and closer to that 200 subscribers mark. We're not there yet.
We moved up one from last week to 196.
Yes. So if you're checking us out and you like what you see, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below there to help us out. Once we hit 200 subscribers, we will be announcing another giveaway contest, but we got to get to 200 first, and we would like to do that next week. But, so tell your friends, tell them to subscribe, like the channel. Everything else helps us out a ton in the metrics with YouTube and everything as well.
Right.
With that, again, thanks everybody for showing up. And why don't you take us out of here, Lance?
Oh man, 33. All right. So thanks again for coming, guys. We appreciate you. We appreciate the views, shared opinions. Like we said before, we're not gonna sugarcoat anything. We're always gonna tell you as we see it. We hope you enjoy us. Spread the word. Hopefully bright days are ahead in the future. I would like to come on here someday and be a champion, you know. Hopefully we get there.
A real one, not just one of those paper ones that we.
Right. I got a filing cabinet full of those.
Mm-hmm.
Someday, guys. Someday we'll get there. Don't stop believing yet, but man, it gets frustrating as a fan sometimes, especially this team.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep sporting that purple and gold and praying to Odin, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys.